I've been looking forward to this for weeks. I haven't been to a car show since before the pandemic, and it's dawned on me this morning the one that I'm going to was probably the last one I was at. It's called ALLFORD at ALFORD. It's a Ford show, which happens in Alford at the Grampian Transport Museum, because if you did it in the village, the entire place would grind to a halt. From what I've seen and heard, there's going to be over 200 cars on display, which is a brilliant turnout. I believe one of the brand new Ford Transits is going to be on display as well. It's the first time it's gone on display in Scotland, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. They're going to be celebrating the end of the Fiesta, which obviously was announced earlier on this year. So after 47 years of production, Ford in their infinite wisdom have gone, no thanks mate, jog on. So there's going to be something special with the Fiesta. I'm not sure what they got planned, but we'll find out. And it's an event I've been to plenty over the years. It's always great fun. So let's head out to Alford and check it out. Now, just for a bit of clarity, it's ALLFORD at ALFORD. It's not ALLFORD at ALLFORD, because I've heard some really weird and wonderful pronunciations of the village name over the years. Coming from the guy who pronounced Dufftown as Dufftown quite recently. Sorry about that. So it's not going to be an overnight trip. I just want to go out and have a look at the cars and try and not spend any money, because I don't really have any. Still can't get over Dufftown. What the hell was I thinking?
It's about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes away from town. You go through West Hill, join the A944, and you basically keep going till you hit the Bull. Hopefully not literally.
I've not met you in a long time, a lifetime ago. Two different people back then, on a different road.
It's a cracking venue. It's got its own outdoor road circuit, and it's somewhere that, like me, celebrates its 40th year this year. The only issue you might find is that on event days, the main car park just outside the museum fills up really early on. So you've got a couple of options. Either you're up and out first thing to get a parking space, or be prepared to walk from the overflow car park. It's usually just the other end of the site. Now, there's clearly a lot of love for these old Fords. I remember the Ford advert in the early 90s, which was sung by Brian May, who changed the lyrics just to suit.
We built for the country's needs. Wheels turn, power at your feet, high speed. But you know you're in safe hands. You'll be forgiven if you think you're dreaming. But we're working night and day to make a dream come true. Yeah. Everything we do, everything we do, everything we do is driven by you.
So back to the event. Like I said, this was the last car show I was at before COVID hit, and I've got to fess up as well. Once upon a time, this was an event I actually helped to organise. I worked at the museum as their marketing and events guy, so all the outdoor events kind of fell into my remit. So I've got a soft spot for these. It certainly didn't disappoint this year either. Now, I talked earlier about the Fiesta Challenge. This was organised by Trust Ford. The idea was to unpack the car with all the picnic goods and the tent and get everything set up in the fastest time. But to complete the challenge, you had to do that, then run back to the car and sound the horn. Couldn't be that tricky, could it?
There's a horn block in this car. Press the button. Yeah, thank you. So, are you ready, Nick? Ready, pen. 3, 2, 1, go! chuckle puddles, they're tuned to you. I wouldn't fancy a night sleep in here. Let's get to what to do. The clock ticks down. That must be cheering you up, ladies. Are you enjoying this?
Look at the state of that.
So like I said, great to see such a big turnout this year. The only thing I didn't manage to spy, and maybe I just missed out, were smiley transits. Remember them? It's probably quite sad, but back in the day we went everywhere in Dad's milk vans. He had 2 or 3 of these, and we didn't bother with a car. We just, if we wanted to take our bikes somewhere, we tied them down on the back and Dad would drive us wherever we wanted to go. If you do head out to ALLFORD, the inside of the museum is obviously worth a look as well. They change the exhibits yearly, so even if you go 2 or 3 years in the bounce, you're going to see different stuff every year. And it's not one of those museums where you're not allowed to touch things either. There's plenty of climb aboard exhibits for the wee ones and, well, not so wee ones. Things like the snowplow, which they can go in, and then you're going to have to drag them back out of again. I mean, I went on the snowplow, why not? One of my favourite things this year, I'm not going to lie, is the Racing Through Time display. Now that's up in the mezzanine. It basically looks at the role of video games and motorsports. And the reason I love this, apart from being a massive geek, is because half of what you see in front of you is from my collection. They tap me up and say, "Can we borrow some of your video games, please?" Of course you can. So that's just about it for this one. It's a short and sweet video because the problem is, every time I go to the museum, I bump into loads of people that I know, so I didn't really get a chance to look around as much as I would have liked. I think next year I'll just go in disguise or something. There is one last thing, however, I've managed to get done since my last video. I've got this bad boy on the van at long last. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate a like. And maybe comment below with your favourite Ford, because I'm that weirdo who's just said, "Oh yes, I really like the smiley transit." So maybe you like something a bit different. Let me know in the comment section and I'll catch you again soon.